Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew review, where today we're going to be technically taking a look at 4 different figures, and that is the ToyBiz Spider-Sense Spider-Man. And I say it's 4 different figures because this figure came out in 2002, and then they used it a bunch of times in 2002 until about 2003-ish, and eventually it got replaced with sort of the new style ToyBiz articulation. And by new style, I mean like having the ball-shaped legs. At this point, they had the ball-shaped shoulders, but they didn't have the ball-shaped legs yet, so they switched to this method. And this one is not the original release of Spider-Sense Spider-Man. So the original release, which I did have, and I did review it, was just called the ToyBiz SpiderMan Classics Spider-Sense Spider-Man, where he came with this brick wall that had a light switch, and it actually made sound effects. And you plug him onto it with the holes on his back, and then his head would light up. Now, I don't have the whole figure anymore, but I do have the head, and the head would light up, and you'd have a similar effect to that. So his head would light up like that. It wasn't so much the eyes light up, it was the entire head sculpt would light up. And the other difference with this one and the original release is that instead of having blue and red, he had black and red. So all of the blue sections were just painted black. And then it had a shading. You see how this guy is a light blue, and then he has like a sort of darker blue shading over top? And that figure was black and then had a sort of grayish white shading over top, which it looked cool, but it was kind of weird, you know, with this release. Well, you see he has pins here, and this is kind of going over the whole costume design and sort of the body sculpt articulation. Basically, the colors and accessories are different. You can see here, with the Spider-Man costume, the red strip on the arms is on the back side and a little bit on the side, compared to like most of the Spider-Man figures and most of the Spider-Man costumes where the strip is only on the side of his arms. You can barely see it from the front, barely see it from the back, and nothing on the inside. So, and given with this kind of design, if you have pins, you're gonna either choose blue or red. ToyBiz chose red, and then they have to paint the underside blue so it matches. With this one, they could have just used blue pins and you wouldn't see it, but for some reason they chose red pins. I know I've been pointing this out a lot, but they used red pins instead of blue, and then they had to paint them. Same thing with these, and then same thing with these, which they used red plastic instead of blue, and then they had to paint it, and the paint comes off, unfortunately. That's one of the first costume designs, and like I said, he had the transparent eyes like this to shine light. This figure actually came in a 2-pack with Dr. Octopus, which was the same Dr. Octopus as the Sinister Six box set version, which with the same body and everything, same head sculpt, same colors. And he does have the lab coat, which I've taken it off. So I want to preserve his lab coat, so I keep it in the packaging so it doesn't get dirty and stuff and collect dust. And this Doc Ock, the tentacles kind of suck just as much as the Sinister Six version, and it just came out okay. But yeah, so I'm going to do a review of this 2-pack and also of the Sinister Six box set Doc Ock, or like the whole box set figures as well. But you got a 2-pack that was like this. And the differences was the solid white eyes, so if you hold him up to the light doesn't shine through him anymore because his eyes are just solid white. And also, in some promo images and some pictures, the box that he comes in with Doc Ock, he looks like he's black and red with white eyes. But according to like eBay listings and like products in hand, he's blue and red with the white eyes, so it's kind of strange. He also came in a 2-pack with Absorbing Man, which I don't have. That Absorbing Man was reused from the Incredible Hulk Classics, Absorbing Man with interchangeable arms. And that's pretty cool, but that's another option for this box set. Unfortunately, that one and the Doc Ock box set, or like the 2-pack, I guess, are insanely expensive and they're hard to find on eBay. I've only ever found like 1 or 2 listings, and they've been sold, and they were like crazy expensive. So good luck trying to find that. And the Absorbing Man on his own is just like $200, which is insane. And then there's another version, which is basically the same as this one I have here, called Spider-Sense Attack Spider-Man, where he came with this kind of a Power Rangers gun looking thing, backpack arm mount thing, similar to what Webcannon Spider-Man came with. And then eventually you could find one, you know, they're relatively cheap, like $10-15. But before you decide, if you buy it, the only thing you're deciding of is do you want red or blue body. And then if you don't like the eyes, you could just paint them white, you know. He's got very muscular, very nice muscle definition there. All the web lines are all sculpted in and painted in, which is nice. Tiny spider logo on the front, and a big spider logo on the back with the holes that you plug in for the gimmick. The heavy shading in the wash is done on the boots, and it looks pretty nice. It's more heavily shaded on this side than it is on this one, but they both still look pretty good. You can see there on the back, he's got that darker blue shading, which on the other one is a white, grayish kind of shading on the black, which is kind of interesting. The arms as well have it. The head as well. It looks pretty nice, I will say. I will say on the shoulders, I don't know if this is universal or if it's just on this one, but you can see the shoulders there. They're sculpted web lines and they're painted blue. Same thing on this side. And then same thing on the back, where that should be painted red and the web lines painted in as well. But they just painted blue plastic. It just painted blue, so it looks kind of strange. That's kind of weird. But as far as articulation goes, the head rotates all the way around. The arms rotate all the way around as well. Oh, and unfortunately, you can't look up or down. He's just perpetually stuck looking in that direction. The arms go up all the way. Bicep swivel. You get perfect range in the elbow, which is very nice. It does stick out a little bit. Rotation here in the wrist. You get a hinge, or rotation in the glove, a hinge in the wrist that has really good range in and out. And this one, they have it on both hands, which is the same movement. Just, of course, no finger joints, so you can't move the fingers. The ab crunch goes back, barely. It goes forward pretty good, honestly. That's pretty good forward. It could maybe a little bit more, but back is kind of bad. Also, I think this was the first time ToyBiz used an ab crunch. Waist swivel, which on this one is kind of loose here. The leg kicks forward that much, which is kind of unfortunate, but if you move it out to the side, you get it kicking up a little bit more, but it does go out to the side. It's weird because he can do the splits on this leg, but not that one, so it's honestly still, that's basically splits, just this one is slightly higher, I feel like. Thigh swivel, you get a double bend in the knee, which has perfect range pretty much. Rotation here in the boot, the ankle goes all the way forward, pretty much all the way back, and then you get an ankle pivot, which is a little unfortunate, but if you put the ankle pivot, you can get his legs spread like that far. Oops. He doesn't stand up too good, but you can spread his legs that much before he starts to fall down. And then you have a toe joint, which goes down, up and down, which down isn't too useful, but it goes up, which is pretty good. But yes, articulation on this guy, I will say, is fairly solid. I will say from like the shoulder down to the wrist is like perfect ToyBiz articulation. Obviously, waist swivel is fine. Like the legs are pretty good. Just the hip range is kind of bad. Ab crunch is a little unfortunate. And then the neck has no range. The neck is the only part that I think it's fine because it was a gimmick toy. So having like a gimmick that obstructs only the neck and everything else is basically fine is pretty good. Unfortunately, like I said, the leg range and the ab crunch is kind of terrible. But either way, that's all for this video. Let me know what you think about this figure. Let me know what you think about this video, and I will see you guys in the next review.